Hey Gang Collective, it's Ron at Becoming Enlightened Together. So we're doing a reading for Monday, the 17th of August. And again, just remember that this is a timeless reading. So whenever it is that you actually stumble into this, then that's when it's meant to be seen. Okay, and that means you're probably there because there's something there for you. Um, so that being said, um, don't accept it in its entirety unless it really feels right to you. If it doesn't make sense to you, or if some of the things do, but other things seem to be going in a different direction, just take the things that do sound or feel right to you. And I say that because it is, again, a collective reading, which means um, I don't necessarily agree that it's impossible for the universe to make it important or correct for everybody if it wanted to, but that ordinarily just doesn't seem logical, right? Okay. Now, being that we're dealing with things that are outside typical logic, multiple dimensions, timelines, and things of that nature, and the more you study things and you compare it to, what we know as far as science, and again, all the other belief systems in the world in terms of the exoteric religions and esoteric beliefs, Gnosticism and many other things, as well as, of course, Hermeticism and the occult, just as well as science, which is slowly catching up with all those other things I just mentioned. You realize where the truths are and where they are not. And if it resonates with you based on that kind of an understanding, then you can believe that it's definitely what it is that you're feeling in the inside, good, bad, and different, whatever that might be. Okay? All right, so the overall energy for the week, as I stated earlier, is that of Sowilo. And Sowilo is in the reverse in this particular reading. Okay? So, for the week, the entire week. What that talks about is blocked energy in particular, hesitation, shadows pretending to be wisdom, that kind of thing. So somebody out there who might be in a position that's pretending to be one thing when in fact they're not that thing, whatever it is. So someone who's extremely self-centered, someone who's gullible, having false goals and success, they're not getting it there. They're not getting to that pinnacle of success really based upon what they present themselves to be or efforts they present, to the public to believe that they have achieved. Okay? That's what we're seeing here. So this is someone who's destructive and somebody who, for their own reasons, is looking for some measure of retribution. Okay, it speaks of the casting down of vanity and the wrath of God. So that's a pretty nasty energy to encompass an entire week. So keep that in mind. Now the past energy, one that we pulled on Sunday, yesterday, for today, which is Monday, and again, it's whenever you see it, is that of Gibo. And again, Gibo is also in the reverse in this case, the wishing room. Okay, now Gibo in the reverse talks about problems with the roots of an emotional manner or nature of some kind. Okay, unresolved issues, probably childhood issues. And that could be any number of things. You didn't get the love that you wanted. You were abandoned as a child. You could have been, um, treated very wrongly. I'll just leave it at that. And you never bounced back from that, or you never really dealt with it. So it's affecting everything that you're doing now. You may not see the connection there, but that is where a lot of it stems from. Okay. So it talks about somebody who's greedy, somebody who's very lonely right now, currently, somebody who's very dependent, somebody who has a tremendous amount of obligations. Again, they're using busy work to appear as though everything is okay for them, even though inside their whole life is being ripped to shreds. Okay, so they're toiling, in an attempt to cover up that which is not going to be covered much longer, no matter what they do. Somebody who's experiencing privation, they're not getting their needs met. in emotional, in um, materialistic, as well as perhaps spiritual means. All right, and somebody is trying to bribe their way out of it, it seems. And you don't have to use money for bribery. You can use whatever might be of value to somebody else, whether it's sex, whether it's drugs, or alcohol, whatever the case may be. Whatever you have that they seem to want, you can trade that for some action, or maybe even just attention. Okay, because whoever we're talking about is definitely living in their ego. We've been talking about these same people for weeks now. So now the present energy is a positive one, at least. It's that of Thurisaz in the upright. It's the only upright rune that we have in this. I take that back. Obstacles and challenges is also upright, which is strange. Thurisaz is mighty god Thor's rune, god of thunder. And being in the upright, it basically talks about the moment where you stop absorbing damage and then you push back. So again, this is a reminder, it's time to move, whoever this is for. It also talks about or implies protection and defense, a challenge or conflict. It suggests a period of obstacles that require strength and resilience to overcome, as courage as well is a part of that. Other things that are associated with Thor's rune is that of giants. He was born from a giantess, so he was half giant, and he battled the giants, if you will. Also talks about thorn. Thorns, as we know, protect the delicate, beautiful flower of a rose, for example. So it's used in that particular mindset. In fact, it even looks like a thorn as far as its symbolic representation. It also represents reactive or directed force of destruction or defense, either way. Okay, so the present energy, that's what it is. Now, whether you're actually utilizing that energy, you're actually moving forward, or you're still stuck, in reverse or what have you, is unclear at this moment. So, obstacles and challenges, that of Yera. And Yera too is in the upright in this case. Now, Yera is basically, where it talks about fairness, if you will, but not miracles. It talks about whatever you put into something is what you get back. What you reap is what you sow, kind of a thing. It says that patience eventually pays off, but shortcuts, they won't. So, again, why is this in the obstacles and challenges, even though it's in the upright? Because it's telling you that the energy exists in Thurisaz, your present energy, and that you should move in this particular light. That what it's telling you in advance, that whatever you put into your current situation ahead of time is what you're going to get back, good or bad. So for some people, that's going to give you a sigh of relief. You know that you've done all your work, you've done good, then you're going to get good back. In the event of those who may be watching who are more the low vibrational or karmic side of things, that reminds you or warns you, if you will, that things are going to probably be very tough for you soon. But that's not a bad thing in general, because what that tells you is that once that whole process starts, as long as you can endure, as long as you can work through it, as long as you can see the lessons that are being presented to you at this time and try to make some movement forward through and past those obstacles, you can and you will grow. And thus you can get past that karma. But otherwise, it's just going to keep mounting up, and it's going to become very overwhelming for whoever this is. Okay. So other things that it implies is the mindset of a harvest, again, reaping and sowing. It talks about rewards, even in legal matters. It talks about commitments. It talks about peace and happiness. It talks about breakthroughs in stagnation. And it reminds us about the cycles of life, the universe. Everything has cycles: moon cycles, solar cycles, a woman's menstrual cycles. We all have good and bad days. There's booms, there's busts in the economy, even though that's created by nefarious forces. So we see that all of these things apply to all of us. Basically, what it's getting at, just like with the Wheel of Fortune card and tarot, it's taking those of us who have been riding at the bottom of that wheel for a very long time, enduring obstacle and challenge after, obstacle and challenge. And now those who have been riding, basically scot-free all of this time are about to experience that for themselves. So those who have been saying, oh, everything comes easy for you, and it's so this, that, and the other thing, who have never walked a single day in your shoes, are about ready to experience those things. And they're going to have a very different tune afterwards when they see what you had to overpower to get through, what you had to overcome to get through, which most of them are not going to last a moment. They won't. And it's not ego or anything else that's saying that. It's just knowing, based on these readings, that if they don't change their mindset and their heart set very, very soon, they just are going to have an extremely difficult time ahead. Okay? So that's the overall energy as far as obstacles and challenges. But again, it tells you you can change that anytime you want. You just have to do the work. You can't just think about it and expect it to happen. It doesn't work like that. Now, your help and advice is that of Verkana. Verkana is also in reverse. Okay? I guess, I don't know, it's hard to say. It looks different on the screen. But it's in the reverse, okay? And Verkana is often associated with the goddess Verchta, who is sometimes associated with or compared to like Mother Nature, although she's not really Mother Nature per se, not the planet as a whole, but she does look after the flora, the fauna, the animals, the young and women, those she acts as a guide in the afterlife, things of that nature. So there's comparisons, and she's also compared to many other goddesses from many other cultures. Okay, and I'd like to do a video about that someday too, and I actually get some time to myself, and I can do these things like I want. In the reverse, Verkana does imply a blurring of consciousness, and we have seen that now for a whole month of readings. Somebody who is not seeing reality at all. They're living in their heads, and they're trying to create an artificial reality that they want everybody else outside of them to accept. But it's crumbling very quickly because people are able to see what's happening, both to them and around them. So it's not going to last much longer. It talks about carelessness, loss of control. Talks about deception yet again and stagnation yet again. You're not moving, and you're being reminded again and again to do something. Okay, make that move. Talks about one's family needs, problems, worries. It implies domestic troubles and issues, and that could be with a sibling, a parent, a grandparent, a friend. Talks about mostly when we're talking about domestic, of course, our spouses, our lovers, whoever it is that we're in that type of situation. But it could also imply children too. Okay, and in some cases even a pet maybe, but it's not intimating anything like that in this case. So, but it does talk about anxiety over somebody that is close to us or close to you. It also may allude to sterility of some type, and that could be in the classical sense of the word, or it could mean sterile in terms of not being able to produce anything. Okay, so take that however it may resonate with you either now or in the future. And finally, the future outcome is that of Rado, but Rado too is in the reverse. Okay, and it's not too good. Okay. Reversed, it means an upset of plans. Whatever plans you had out there, and I'm addressing the karmics, I'm addressing those who have been fighting their journey all of this time, going through it, blaming the entire world for all the things that have happened to them and befallen them, over this period of time, not accepting their responsibilities at all yet. Uh, as far as their spiritual walk is concerned, they're acting very, very infant-like. They're not even a young adult yet. They're not making wise decisions. They're acting very juvenile, whoever this is. So you can also expect delays and unexpected travel. In other words, travel that is not something that you truly desire, being forced. Somebody who may be very lost, and I mean lost emotionally and spiritually as well as physically somehow, some way. Talks about somebody in the midst of crisis, somebody who's very rigid, very stubborn, somebody who is, they've acted unjustly to many other people, and that's why they're getting a taste of their own medicine, whoever they are. Somebody who's irrational, somebody who is either disruptive or they themselves are experiencing disruptions, probably both. Somebody who's been dislocated in some way, fashion, or form, kicked out of your home, kicked out of your family, kicked out of your group, whatever it is. Somebody who may have been demoted at work. Somebody, again, who is suffering from delusions, delulu. And unfortunately, again, as we've seen so many times over the past, I can't even tell you how long, at least the last 6 months, I would say probably closer to the last entire year, we've been seeing this possibility of death. That's also part of this energy in reverse. And I don't want that upon any of you, but if you refuse to do what you know in your heart you're meant to do, you're supposed to do, you know it's the right thing to do, and no matter what happens to you, you're simply so ego-driven, so stubborn that you cannot see the error of your ways, then if all else fails, then you can expect to experience either in your family, somebody close to you, or you yourself may end up having to compromise your own existence, at least in this lifetime. And again, I don't want that for anybody out there, even if this is somebody who's done the worst to me. But it is what it is, and the universe will always maintain balance. So if you've been doing things in a very, very low vibrational, and I would even go as far as say borderlining evil, in some cases, I mean, it literally sounds like in some cases in these readings, I'm talking about a genuine demon, somebody who's hiding behind, a mask of some type that's very persuasive. Either they're very attractive physically, they have a winning smile and personality, they're very high up in the food chain in terms of whatever their career might be. It could be one or all of those things. I don't know, but deep down inside, they are rotten to the core. And I mean, the things that they're thinking, the things that they're actually practicing when nobody is there to watch, but there's always somebody there watching. You need to understand that. Spirit literally is there watching everything that happens. You're not getting away with anything. And you may not believe that, but you're about to experience it. So just remember I said it when it does, because it's the only way to help you to get your head out your bum. See, I avoided saying ass. You know what I meant. Get your head out of your ass, man. Come on. So, we've all been there. So, I'm not judging you. But it's getting serious. I mean, the words are getting very, very serious here. So, don't take it lightly. Not much longer. If you do, you're going to pay an ultimate price. And it's going to be hell on earth for you. Literally. And I don't want that. And I'm sure there are others out there in the collective who have people like this in their lives. Don't want that for them either. And if you do, again, I'm not judging you as a collective. Some of you have been truly wronged in a very, very dramatic way. And I've got people in my life I could say that about as well. We've all been wronged in some way, shape, or form. But sometimes people really, they go to, we're talking about a Hollywood style or level of betrayal and things of that nature. And if that's your case, and again, if you need to talk, just hit me up and I'll get back to you the moment that I see it, okay? Or if I'm able. I can't say that all the time because sometimes things happen unannounced, unplanned, unscheduled. So I just have to roll with the punches. That's part of rolling, with the cycles of life. We're supposed to ride it like a wave, and not fight it. And I'm learning that as hard as it is because I like to have everything worked out in my head too, just like many other people, including whoever these um, megalomaniacs or egomaniacs are that we're talking about here. They take it to a different level, though. There's nothing wrong with trying to bring organization and some type of, order to things. We all like that, but remember, we're not controlling everything that happens in life. Nobody can. So we have to have a bit of flexibility. And by the way, the number one thing in any survival situation is not the biggest, the strongest, smartest, or anything like that. It's the person or persons who are most adaptable. They're the survivors. Um, that's the one trait or attribute or characteristic, if you have, then you can get through almost anything. Well, I'll say you can get through anything. Okay? All right. I've rambled. I digress. I wish you all the very best. And if time allows and so on, then I'll see you again tomorrow. Otherwise, you guys all take care. Stay victorious. And, well, not too soon, hopefully. I'll see you in Holla. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.